This is my 2005 Toyota Tundra and my 1984 four-wheel camper. In my opinion, this is one of the best off-road overlanding vehicles there is. In this video, I'm gonna do a full walk around, talk about every detail I can think of both the truck and the camper. We'll start with the truck. As I said before, this is the 2005 Toyota Tundra. This is the double cab limited model. I bought this 2 years ago when it had about 145,000 miles on it. Right now, it's got about 165,000 miles on it. It's got that 4.7 liter V8 up front. That's the million-mile engine. People love it as long as you change your timing belt. The timing belt was changed at 120 on this, so whoever was the owner before let it go a little too long. You're supposed to do every 90,000, but with that, it's good for quite a few more miles still. With the camper on, it averages right around 12 miles per gallon, whether you're going 80 or 40, it doesn't really care. So that's good, bad, or other. I mean, for a big truck like this, we kind of expect that. Accessories to the truck, it's got a K&N cold air intake, which I didn't put on, the previous owner did. I don't think they do anything whatsoever, but that's cool for them. It's got the TRD exhaust, which does sound awesome. It's got big old tires. It's got the NITTO GRAPPLER G2s, the GRAPPLER G2s. They're 33-inch tires. It's an amazing tire, fine on-road, amazing off-road, nice and big, which is awesome. These are those big 33-inch tires. NITTO, GRAPPLER, G2s. I've never had a flat. They've never let me down. When I got them, they were brand new. Plenty of tire tread on them still. Yeah, just a really amazing tire. I'd probably get this tire again. I liked it a lot. It worked well for me. In order to fit them, it does have spacers, G2, I believe. Again, I didn't put any of that on. It was all on when I bought the camper. And so that's what it needs in order to clear. You still get, I think, a touch of tire rub when you're really cranking the tire, but that rarely happens for me. That's all the lift there is up front. In the back, there are Firestone Ride Rite airbags. Those airbags, that type of lift system, it's okay. I've had it on my Tacoma before. It's on this Tundra now. I had some leakage issues. I finally fixed it. And it's nice that it is adjustable. If I was gonna have the camper on full time, I would probably just go for a leaf pack, but it works well. And then the other thing too is there are some riser blocks in the back as well, inch and a half, something like that. And that's what gives it the stance that it has. It carries the camper really, really well. It's a rad little vehicle. The truck, it's got the limited trim, so that means it's got a sunroof, it means it's got heated seats, it means it's got a CD player. Top of the line for 2005. Now it seems a bit dated, but it works just fine, you know? We're always just streaming off of our phones. We're good to go. It's extremely comfortable. My wife loves it. The back seat is absolutely huge, and that's what makes this, I think, the best truck ever. I don't like that the new second gens, you can't get this double door action. This is called the Crew Max now. This used to be called the Double Cab. The Double Cab is a little bit smaller in the modern truck, but you can't get the Crew Max with the 6.5 foot bed, which in my opinion is a big bummer. And so that's why I literally think this is the best truck ever made. Other things that you might find interesting, we have aftermarket headlights. Not LEDs, the HIDs or whatever. Again, the previous owner installed them, but those are phenomenal, except for the fact that people flash me all the time because they think I have my high beams on. But in terms of, for me, especially driving off-road, it's awesome. It's got some grill. The grill is super sought after. I think it's some like NASCAR racer or something. I don't really care. Here is that grill that I mentioned that apparently is rather sought after. Works just fine for me. I would never go pay extra for a grill, but now that I have it, I'm cool with it. And then the whole truck's D-badge. Gives it a real nice Stormtrooper look, which I think is cool. So yeah, the truck's a very good looking truck. Let's bring you in to show you the interior a little bit. Here's the inside of the truck. Leather, everything, heated seats, tons of 12 volt everywhere. Fake wood, real wood, doesn't really matter. Looks old, but that's all right. Power seats, JBL speakers, all that good stuff. And that's pretty much it. It's a great little truck. I just cleaned it because it's going to a new person soon. More on that later. But 2005 Toyota Tundra Double Cab. In my opinion, one of the best trucks ever made. With the details of the truck gone over, now let's get into the real fun stuff, which is this awesome 1984 four-wheel camper. This is the fleet model, a 7-foot fleet. They come in a 6-foot model. This was not exactly made for the Tundra. I mean, Tundra didn't exist when this thing was made, but I retrofit it to fit perfectly. We'll start by going over the exterior attributes of the camper, and then we'll work our way in. This side's pretty basic, just this huge window. Honestly, these lower windows, the older campers had them. The newer campers, they've started to eliminate them because you just don't use them. I never open up these curtains. They're just too low for when you're in the camper. They don't make much sense. So huge window, would delete it if I could in the future, but that's what that is. These both open. This opens as well, actually. We rarely, if ever, really open those when we were using the camper. Didn't find a need to. Before I go any further, I completely restored this camper. That's what the majority of the content on my YouTube channel is about. Built it, pretty much the only thing that's original on it is the sheeting, the roof, and the floor pack, and all that was painted at least. I redid absolutely everything else. Completely gutted it, completely rebuilt it, including the canvas, which we will get into in a little bit. The only thing that's over here are these D-rings. Put those on last year to attach an awning. I put that awning up a few times, but honestly it was more hassle than it was worth. Those are kind of cool. I actually have used them to strap plywood to the roof as well when I'm transporting plywood and the camper happens to be on. So the D-rings are kind of cool. This is the bed area of the camper. I will show you all about that in a little bit. You can see it's quite short compared to a modern four-wheel camper. Back in the day, they made these little stubby beds, and then you pull the rest of the bed out there. The new ones are always longer, so you could kind of sleep up there even if you didn't pull it out. It's fine. I, of course, wish it was longer. I have seen people online that actually shorten the body of these older campers to make the bed longer, make the body shorter, and make them fit modern truck. I did not choose to do any of that. That's pretty much all that's going on this side. Let's go around to the other side of the camper and I'll show you some more. This is the slightly more exciting side of the exterior of the camper. Another window, which I definitely wish I had deleted. In hindsight, I wish I just put new metal sheeting on the outside. Would have deleted this, and that would have given me more options for my interior galley space. This is open to a couch area right now. Just too much couch, not enough counter is what's going on inside. But such is life. That's the window. I do have my four-wheel sticker up here. The guys at 4Wheel sent it to me. I'll go over these in a little bit. These were on the other side too. I just didn't talk to them, but these are your latches that keep the roof on. There's 6 all around, 2 on each side and then 2 on the front. The other things that are over here, this used to be a like 120 volt shore power system. When I gutted the camper, I took all that out. I left this because I didn't have anything to cover this hole. So it is just a hole. Not great for the old insulation. I did think like if I ever wanted to, I'd like run an extension cord to keep my battery charged if I was ever like camping at a place that had something like that. Have never once used it. So should have just deleted it, but that's all right. My water tank lives right behind this wall. It's a 20-gallon, huge water tank, way more water than I ever need. This is the gray water drain, which I think is just crazy that this is still what 4-wheel camper uses today. I can't believe they don't have a better gray water system. Try to run that into a bucket or something so you're not just spewing gray water out there, making mud and attracting critters. But that is the gray water drain off the sink. This is the freshwater drain. So if at the end of a trip you want to drain all your excess water out, this is what that is. But I made this more functional and actually put this faucet on, which I thought was pretty cool. I actually use this a lot, probably more than the sink inside, to like fill up water bottles and stuff, because I do a lot of my cooking outside anyways. So having this exterior fresh water spigot was actually really, really nice. And I'm really glad I took a traditional kind of drain valve and made it a little more functional. So I've loved having that, except it does have a slow leak in it somewhere in here, I'm sure, but it's pretty minimal. I never go for more than a day or 2 at most, and the water tank holds up. So it's a little drip, 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 kind of silly, kind of annoying, but that's what that is. And actually you can see you could thread a hose, and this is high, so you could actually get a little like sprayer or something on that if you wanted to. I never did anything like that. And then this is the propane tank, just one of your traditional, what are those, 20-pound propane tanks. I also keep in there a simple crescent wrench for when I ever need to swap those out. I like having this style propane tank because you can just swap it with anybody else whenever you need to. She should be off, which she is. That's the 3 things I always check when I'm about to go somewhere. Propane tank off, latch is shut, and if I checked my turnbuckles recently. That's the systems over here. You can see I had made this a sticker station for a while, but I ended up making my my step ladder the sticker station instead. So that is the driver's side of the camper. A little bit more going on, but with that, let's go to the back and look at some more. All right, this is the rear of the camper. This is where things definitely start getting a lot more exciting. Another window, which I think is excessive, don't really need it. We have 2 porch lights. When I first got the camper, there was only 1 porch light this guy. I installed a second because I could. Honestly, don't use the porch lights very much. They're very dim. They're not floods. Just don't find a need for it that much. So those are porch lights. This is the freshwater fill for that freshwater tank, that 20-gallon tank. It's a gravity fill. It's pretty annoying. If I was gonna redo the camper, I would just do 5-gallon jerry cans instead, because it's annoying to pull the hose out, put it in here, fill it up. 20 gallons is way more than I need. Yeah, just kind of excessive. So that is a gravity fill. I'm glad it's there, but I don't use it that much, honestly. I also have 3rd brake lights. I used to have 4 pieces. We are down to just 1, but that still does work. So I've got a little bit of third brake light at least for the people behind me at night. This is a latch for the door. That holds the door open, which is pretty neat. Cool little feature. Freestyle freewheeling sticker. That's a motto that my brother has. This down here is a system to raise the camper up so that it fits in this bed. The wings of the camper were too low to fit the sidewalls of this truck bed. Specifically, you know, modern trucks have much higher sidewalls than they used to. So this was, I think this camper was designed for the old T100 or something like that, which had much lower sidewalls. So we had to bring the camper up a little bit in order to make it fit. But what's cool is that I've actually repurposed that space. So these down here are 2 huge drawers that I actually call my basement. I made these with one very specific use case in mind, and that was to store skis. I use this a lot to go skiing, to stay in parking lots so I don't have to drive up on Saturday mornings. I can drive up on Friday night and beat the traffic. It was awesome. I love doing that. We will get another camper to do more of that in the future. We used to have to throw the skis in here, which just made a mess and was really annoying. So this was probably one of my favorite features, and I honestly wish that 4-wheel camper would start doing something like this as a stock option. I know that some flatbeds have that, which is really cool. These are huge drawers that run all 7 feet of the camper. I can store my skis in, so it's really awesome. In hindsight, I would have just made one huge drawer instead of 2 separate ones, because I can only store like 3 skis in each, which is kind of annoying and silly. So really that means I can only store 1 pair of skis because I rarely break them up. I think if I had made one big drawer, I would have been able to store 4 pairs altogether, which would have been better. Something else I did on these, which is pretty cool, is I made these little tabletops that drop in for like tailgating and cooking on. It's a really cool idea. It's a really cool feature. I have used it plenty, but it also doesn't work perfect. It's right in front of your door. And so if you're in and out of the camper with these, it's a little problematic. Especially, I think once we had kids and stuff, we just found ourselves going in and out a lot more. And so it became kind of not the most practical thing. So I still love the idea, but in hindsight, I wish I just made like tables that attached over here or something else out of the way. But it was cool. These are currently empty. In the summer, I'll put maybe firewood down there. I'll put my like campfire accessories to, like my axes, my saws, my cooking stuff for the campfire, like a big griddle and things like that. So just kind of dirty things that I don't want in the camper. So that's why I call it my basement, because it's just for everything. Got lock on those. And just so you know, when I had this in my Tacoma, which I did a long time ago, I had an 1.5-inch riser, and I still use that space underneath. I actually stored a little table. So I think it's really wise to take advantage of that space if you do need to raise the camper up. Obviously, you'd rather not raise the camper up because it's going to increase your center of gravity, but such is life. So might as well make good use of it if you have to. I think that's everything out here. So I'm going to take my latches off. I'm going to set you up. I'm going to pop the camper. Let's go look around inside. Step stool for getting in. Gonna go in. I put my shoulder on a couple of planks and I just kind of pick it up with my legs. And that's the camper popped up. It has 6'6" of clearance inside. So super tall canvas. I made it way bigger, way taller when I redid it, which has been awesome. It makes the camper just feel so spacious. We love it. If you're gonna redo a 4-wheel camper, literally raise the roof. It's so much better. But let's take you in so you can check more out. All right, now we're inside. You're currently at the front of the camper looking back towards the door. This is the galley area. We've got a basic sink, which drains to that gray water drain that we saw before. We've got a basic hand pump faucet. I've got a little faucet, it's right down here. I got a little utensil drawer, just trying to use every square inch of this space. So I've got a little faucet that pops on there, 20-gallon water tank, works out great. Honestly, didn't use it that much. I would always just have like water bladders kicking around and just pour it through the sink if need be. But it was nice to have. So, you know, for the right person, super functional. Let's get a little light in here. These are the windows. There's 4 windows all the way around. All 4 are identical. Each window's got 3 layers. So it's got this canvas layer. It's actually vinyl coated polyester. So it's got one canvas layer lets all the light in. Now we've still got a clear layer here, but then if we want air to come through, you can pull that down as well, and you've got a nice fine mesh layer. So because I want some light in here, I'm gonna go ahead and keep that one down. You fold it over. The windows are amazing. We're really happy with them. Seam system. I've got a 3-part video series all about sewing this canvas, and the majority of it is dedicated to figuring out how these windows work, but I'm super happy with how they came out, so they're awesome. Now that we got some light in here, the other thing is I've got this 2-burner stove. This is hooked up to that 20-pound propane tank. The stove in the original camper was over here more. I snuck it over here instead to try to just optimize my space. I'm happy I did that, but I snuck it over a little too far. It actually interferes with my lifting mechanism, which is kind of annoying, but we just keep a bungee handy so that we can just do that. 2 burners, super basic. Light it with a lighter. Pretty much just use it for boiling water or cooking eggs in the morning. But love having the burner inside. I do a lot of my cooking outside whenever possible, but definitely for the winter camping or the early mornings, this is amazing. So super fortunate to have this great little propane stove inside. I'm gonna go ahead and put that away. Again, a utensil drawer. Normally there'd be a spork, spatulas, things like that down in here. And now there's just some soap, that faucet thing, the bungee, and a lighter. Now let's drop you down a little bit and show you the pantry. All right, so this is the pantry section. I've got these really cool latches. These are marine inspired latches where right now they're locked shut, which is amazing for off-roading. I've had these pop open once on me when I was off-roading. So in general, they work phenomenally. So you pop them, that unlatches them. Now you can open your door. I've got little shelves in here that are about a hand's width deep because the propane and the water tank are on the back side of that. So just making the most of all my little spaces. We do 3 shelves in here. They're not equal. I made them to fit a couple of cans or jars I thought I would have around. So normally I've got pastas in here, canned beans, little ramen, some soup, things like that, pantry items. Right now it's empty, which is great because I just cleaned everything. And then we also have these little containers, secondary storage containers. You can never have too much of that. We'd also keep our games in here, Scrabble, things like that, and also keep our journal, our like camp journal where we write about the different places we stay. We did it purposely by the door because I figured we do a good amount of camping outside and you can reach this when you're just outside. You don't have to crawl into the camper to get to it. Yeah, I did do that sometimes, so it was nice. If I'd gone with just one of these buckets instead, I'd probably just bring the bucket outside. So it's not the end of the world either way. But that's the pantry with the cool little marine latches. Down lower even more, I've got a Big Buddy heater. So there's the Mr. Heaters or whatever. There's like the Little Buddy and Big Buddy or something like that. It's the big one. Puts out like 1,800 BTUs or something like that, which is a ton. Way more than this camper needs. So that gets real hot in here real fast. That's plumbed to the propane line, and it's got this big 12-foot propane, flexible propane line off of it. So you can put it pretty much anywhere in this camper. We'd often just put it up top or down low. Once we had the kid, we'd put it up top so that they couldn't touch it. We'd usually run it at high, all 1,800 BTU for like half an hour, warm the camper up, and then drop it down to medium. These catalytics are cool because they're so simple. They're like stupid simple, but they're not cool in that they eat up the same oxygen that you're breathing, so you gotta leave a vent open for safety. And they also make quite a bit of moisture. Luckily, I live in Colorado, so that moisture is not that big of a deal, but to a certain person, that could be a big deal. Down here as well, we've got a little hand broom. This hand broom lives on a little very neato leather snap that Small Truck Campers Instagram guy sent me, so that was really nice of him. So I use that to hold the little hand brush. We've also got a carbon monoxide detector as well as a fire extinguisher. That kind of wraps up what's down low over here. Let's go up and over a little bit and keep exploring our main storage areas. All right, so then right next to the pantry here is some charging facilities. 4-Wheel Camper sent this. They sponsored a video. I love my 4-Wheel Camper. Got my hat, got my shirt on, really repping the game. But we've got 4 USB chargers and then one 12-volt cigarette lighter type of situation. I don't know if I've ever actually used that, but the USB chargers are phenomenal. They're hooked up to my house battery. Great for charging phones at night. That's the main use case. Then next to our little charging station, we've got 4 bins. These are bins. I picked them up actually from Office Max or something because I wanted a very specific size. So I just looked all over until I found a bin that fit perfectly. They sit in here and then bungees keep them strapped in. As long as you put your bungee up, they stay in no problem. If you forget your bungee, like someone did once, they fall out and then your bins break, and that's why one's all duct taped up. In these bins, we went with the bins because we like the idea of pulling them out, going into the house, packing them up, and then just like sliding them into place. In our typical use case, we have one that's full of cookware that just lives in the camper all the time, and then we have 3 others, mommy, daddy, and baby bin. It's worked out really, really well. We like the bin system a lot. These all have lids, like snapping lid, which is actually way overkill. The lids were overkill. Wish I'd just gone with a tub that was just 4 symmetrical tubs, but I like hunted a lot because I thought I wanted the lid. Didn't need it at all. But that's the main storage area. Mostly clothes, a little bit of food, and a little bit of cooking gear, but that's what goes on here in our main storage area. If I had put a fridge in, it would be here and I wouldn't have this beautiful storage space. Below this storage space, down here is a little shelf type of situation. You can put the leg for the table down here. I have it somewhere else. For us, this was kind of our junk drawer. My toddler could easily get in this space, so we would put like his toys and stuff here. But yeah, a nice another little storage area. And some really cool blue or white touch lights. They're marine lights that my uncle gave me. Also down here, right here, is one of the pass-throughs to the tie-downs for the camper. There's 4 more of these. This is the only style that's like a flap door like this. The other ones are just kind of like lids, and I'll get to those in a second. So let's keep exploring other parts of this camper. So this is the main couch area of the camper. This is the passenger side of the truck. Here's that big window that pop open. We've got these huge cushions. They're way too big. We use them, and then we use less of them, and then we use less of them, and then we eventually just took them out of the truck. They've got like plywood bases. I built them, but they're really comfortable, but they're just way overkill. And we just end up shuffling these huge cushions around all the time. And so if I was to do it again, I would either make a very thin cushion, but not even have enough for everything. Just like a couple that people can shuffle around and sit on. But also like we really don't need them. We like it better without them. So you don't need cushions. Underneath, I've got some nice indoor outdoor carpet. And then I've got 3 storage areas, 1, 2, 3 up and down. I've got them separated, and you can just store whatever you need in there. We would often store kind of more deep storage type of stuff, extra TP. We would store extra cloths, extra diapers. In here would be my tools, like my emergency tools. So like a spare tie-down system, a spare ratchet strap, turnbuckle, excuse me. I'd have a handful of tools, maybe a junky voltmeter in case I ever needed that. And then I also have the leg for the table, which I'll show in a second. That's the storage. There's more of them up and down. They're all empty right now. So nice little storage that the camper has. Annoying to get to when we have all these cushions. Let's keep moving. The table can go right here. So down in the floor, there's a circular peg for the table leg to go into. And then we just keep the table strapped to the wall. So there's one of these pegs down there. This is not the original table. We completely redid it. A rad little table. We honestly didn't use this much. I guess I take that back. When it was just my wife and I, we used it quite a bit. We would play like games on it, but now once we had the toddler, it would just kind of get in the way. So we used it very infrequently, but it's cool. Nice little table, packs up pretty nicely. So it's not a big deal to have it around or not, but that is the table system. Notice it matches the countertops. We did that. Thought it came out pretty nice. Let's keep moving. There's more storage that I'm staying on top of right now. And then we need to go to the bed and the electrical. So let's keep it moving. See, like I said, shuffling things around. I wanted to show you this. So there's another one of these storage systems, and I want to show you what turnbuckles look like. These are little lids that are for the pass-through, and then I can reach down to my turnbuckles, which attach the camper to the bed of the truck. So let's get you in there. Yeah, you can see it right there. Turnbuckle, chain, big eye bolts, big forged eye bolts, not cast. Or wait, no, cast eye bolts, not forged. One or the other, whichever's the stronger. I don't remember. 4-wheel camper sent me them. I've got a video about it. I'm sure I say it right in that. But that's the turnbuckles. That's how you access them. So there's 3 of those all the way around. Let's look at the more storage underneath me. So this is the very front of the camper. That's, you can see into the truck. This technically opens, and actually the truck, the rear window rolls down all the way. We never really played around with that, but that'd be cool. We always said the one downside of a truck camper is that you can't pass through from your driving space to your living space, because we think that would just be nice, but not something we have. Again, shuffling these cushions around, just way too many cushions in here. 2 huge storage containers. 2 huge storage containers. This is where we would keep our bedding mostly. So 2 big sleeping bags, a bunch of spare blankets, some pillows, things like that. That's what we put there. We like to put that stuff there because A, we needed the space. They were just big volume items. And then also this is kind of harder to get to because it's so far away from the front of the door, and that's the stuff that just lives in the camper all the time, right? We have a sleeping bag that lives in the camper, the pillows that live in the camper. And so that's what we use that for. What's also in here is our house battery. So let's check that out. So we've also got a house battery, a deep cell, old as dirt, came with the camper, but it's been working because my electrical system's really basic. We've got the Overlander 115 MPPT, Overland Solar. 4-wheel Camper sent me that when they sponsored my solar video. It's been working out great. Hooked up to the 20 watts, just kind of trickle charges, keeping the battery afloat. And then I've got the Blue Seal 6-channel fuse box. I'm using 2 channels right now, so plenty of opportunity to build this out bigger in the future. I've got all my lights on one channel and my USB charger on the other. My wires are all way overkill for what they need to be, so it's a pretty efficient system. And that's the electrical. It just lives down there, tucked away. So we got those 2 really fun tap lights. Those were always fun. And then here's the little solar charger. It keeps track of the pixies in, pixies out type of situation. It's always worked well. It tells you the status of your battery. I also have this kill switch, which I think is really good to keep your battery from getting drained. What's cool is that the solar system is still hooked up even when this is pulled out. I think is a great feature that all 12-volt systems should have, and mine does as well. Let's go look at the lights up top. So we've got 4 lights all the way around. I've got 2 tube hangers and then 2 single. They're simple LED bulbs in there, super efficient, and they work great. I purposely put a ton of lights in this camper because my primary use case originally was to use it for skiing. It's dark all winter, so we want plenty of light in here for when we're hanging out after 5 p.m. in the middle of winter and it was already dark. So that's the lighting system. Been super happy with it. I think in hindsight I would have done a more modern like strip system, but these basic RV style lights work well. I also have up here a smoke detector. Wish I had moved it a little farther away from the cooking area, but such is life. The other thing that's up in the roof is a simple vent. I don't have a fan up there, so it's just a basic vent. In Colorado, it's usually pretty cool in the mountains, even in the middle of summer. And so we've been just fine. We did go for a really long road trip last year through the Midwest in the middle of the summer. It was very hot. We wish we had more airflow. This is wired to take that. When I redid the roof, I did put wires up there, just never got around to installing a fan, but it's ready for it whenever they want to put it in. All right, and then finally towards the front of the camper, I think are 2 aspects of the camper that I get asked about the most. So 1 is where does it sleep, and 2 is how does it pop up? So where do we sleep? This is the main bed. We sleep east to west in the bed, and what happens is this slides out. And then we situate our mattresses, boom, 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 boom. We make a little puzzle with our mattress pieces. It's been great. You can see the mattresses are pretty basic, but it's fine. I mean, we're camping and it's a pretty small little bed, so it works out fine. I'm actually parked at a little bit of a slant right now. I don't know if you can feel it, but it does make a huge difference if the camper is perfectly level or not. So we try hard to level the camper when we park it. But that is where we do most of the sleeping. I have slept down on the couch and stuff like that before. I've slept with the roof down a few times. Primarily, we'll pop the roof up and sleep up here. And now let me talk a little bit more about the lifter system. This is my EMT lifting system. By far my most popular project on any of the projects I've shared on YouTube. This is what holds the roof up. What I'll do is there's actually 3 pivots, 1 down there, up at the top, and then dead center in the middle. That's very important. And then I'll actually come in, I put my shoulder right on these pieces of wood right here, and I just pick up and just pop that into place. And then I've got 2 cotter pins or coiter pins or whatever they're called that just slide in to lock the EMT in place. So this is just your standard electrical conduit EMT. Been working great. I know a lot of people that have done this after me. I didn't make it up. I learned from someone else, but that's how the lifting system works, and it works out really, really well. I know for some folks it's annoying that it's manual, that you literally have to pick up your back. Luckily, I'm a young enough guy that it's no big deal, but I could see how that'd be problematic for some other people. There are some systems to automate the lifting process. They either use a speaker jack. Down in Australia, they use a pneumatic system, which is really cool. But here, we're nice and manual. So that's what we do. So that is my overlanding rig, my 2005 Toyota Tundra and my fully restored 1984 four-wheel camper. I've loved this camper, and next week we're selling it. We've already made the deal, so by the time this video's out, it's gonna be gone. And I just wanted to make this to memorialize it for myself and also finally share with people, because I made a lot of videos that are all little project based, but didn't show the whole thing start to finish. So this is the camper. We've had it for 6 years, 5 years, 6 years. Fixed it up for a lot of those years. Really proud with how it came out. Learned a lot, and sad to see it go, but excited at the same time. We're gonna get another rig. We're gonna keep camping. It just won't be with this rig. I hope it's as capable off-road, but you gotta make compromises as things change. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, shoot them over to me. I'll try to answer them. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.